I think it matters because we need to continually be looking at who we are and what we practice. If what we're doing is actually working with often quite vulnerable communities and people, and therefore it's really important, and so it should be instinctive to us that we look at our practice and seek to improve it.
I think quality and continuous improvement has always mattered to us, but I think it matters particularly just now because of the climate that we're in, of having to evidence that we're making a difference, and maybe that's a good discipline for us to say, well, we've always made a difference, but now we can prove it, and I think that's why it matters more so now than before.
It helps to ensure that what your organisation and you as practitioners provide is relevant and of use.
I think as well, if you look at like the work that you've maybe done previously 5 years ago, or like longer, it's obviously the work's constantly changing, so you're looking at how you can continue to impact on young people's life. It's young people I work with, so like looking at young people's life, how you're going to impact on that and how you can improve at time, like say running like maybe a pilot course or something, and thinking you've kind of set standards, but you're obviously going to continue to improve the piece of work that you're doing, and obviously make sure that the young people are getting the quality work that they deserve to be delivered.
I think it matters to us as students because we know so much in terms of the knowledge that we have of the practice, but we don't really have a practical, a working knowledge of it. So the quality and continuous improvement is good for us because it brings a lot of what our knowledge is into practice, and it helps us to see how it would work in real terms. Because although we talk about it and we use the frameworks within assessments and discussions and different things at uni, we don't have working knowledge of it, so it's easy. It would be a lot easier for us to understand how important our CLD knowledge is in practice if we had the continuous improvement.
I think continuous and quality improvement is important because if the aim of CLD is to sort of improve the outcomes for people that you're supporting, then if you're improving the service overall, then you can't do that without improving the people who are actually delivering those services.
It's that sort of affirmation of what you're doing, and that I think, why are you doing this job if it doesn't matter, if it's not about being of quality?
It's really about the untapped potential that's out there in communities, and unless you're actually reflecting and evaluating what it is that you're providing, then there's unlikely to be any change affected within communities or with service users. So it really is about making sure that what you're providing actually helps their circumstances.
I think it matters. It shouldn't be just because we have to do it and because it's imposed. It should actually be about driving up quality of practice because we want to do that. An example of the healthy living centres, for example, which have come from a position of where probably previously they were evaluated as kind of in a way where the funding was dependent on showing and demonstrating results and the achievement of outputs, but actually what they're doing now is trying to develop their own kind of standards framework, if you like, for their practice because they see the need to do that, to demonstrate the quality of the work that they're doing as organisations and also within those organisations as practitioners.
Yeah, I think also it matters at an organisational level as well. We're in a climate where funding's hard to get hold of, and I think the more organisations can show they've got a real impact on people, and it can be quite hard to pin down that impact in the world of community learning and development, but I think the more that organisations can demonstrate that they're aware of what's going on around them and can actually engage with that, the more likely they're going to remain relevant and focused on important issues in the community.
The other thing that's important is to make sure that it's not something that just stays still. You sort of look at what the needs are rather than the resources and then just say, right, that's fine, we'll just do this for the next 20 years. It's about making sure that there are processes that are built in for continually assessing very robustly the needs that are out there, the potential for affecting change, to make sure that you're using your resources and targeting your resources as wisely as possible and with as much benefit to service users and communities as possible. And I think one of the other things looking at that is that at the same time, we can't be having short chat, looking for differences to be made week on week. A lot of the time, particularly in community development, the processes can be very long term.